Hello everyone, back with another video on the RC Trophy Truck. So since the last video I have finished the upper suspension arms for the rear. So they're done, just a bit of bent pipe, threaded the ends M4 into some plastic ball links. Easy enough. And then I've also welded on the top suspension mounts just there and there. I've also finished off the front servo mounts, so I just put a little ankle piece in there. So on the other side, that just holds the servos nice and tight. They're not going anywhere now. So this video is going to be a time-lapse video. I'm just going to have got a separate camera that I'm going to set up. I'm going to put on some generic music, and I'm going to build up the parts so far with springs on the front and rear shockers. Put the wheels on, so it'll be the first time that it's been a rolling chassis with the springs on. We'll see how it looks, see how heavy it is. I'll put in the transmission as well, and then we can have a good look at it, and then we can talk about what's coming next. So let's crack on. There she is. So you saw in that time-lapse video there, putting it all together. All the nuts and bolts are temporary. They're going to be redone with proper length stainless bolts with nylon lock nuts. So just so you know. Right, so I have got some concerns. You can see that it's built up. All looks pretty good. I put the batteries in, just temporary, fastened them in. Yeah, so the concerns, you've got the rear end is spot on, quite happy with that. So that works well. I'll put in the side of this video, I'll put some other clips of what I've done on the floor, just so you've got something to watch whilst I'm talking. My main concerns are this front end. You've got your sideways movement of the front wheels as the car goes through its travel is massive, and it's got some serious. So you can see there's that much resistance that the suspension cannot work. Now this is static, so you see there the car's stuck down because of the friction. and then if I lift it all the way up, the friction of the tyres is stopping the suspension from working. So that is a big concern. Now what I'm going to do is, because of that, I'm going to put the electronics in the car, put in the speed controller, put in the receiver, wire it all up, and before I do any more welding, I'm going to take it for a drive. And I'm hoping that the forwards movement of the car will let the suspension work. But I've got my concerns. I'm a bit worried that it's... But that's what needs doing. I'm going to run 2 batteries because I think it needs the weight. The rear springs, these are the standard springs from the other car, and they're actually too strong. So the battery in the back helps helps get the weight right for the spring rate. There is going to be more metal on the back as well, so it might be. But then I can, if it's too heavy, I can just wind up the springs, wind up the preload on the springs, if needs be. So it's going to have 2 batteries, then it'll longer run time as well. Battery at the back, battery at the front. What else is there to say about it really? It seems to work so good so far. So far so good, should I say? Get my words right. It definitely needs an anti-roll bar. And you can see there that from the friction from the front wheels, it won't self-correct. And I've never noticed it before, but you can see the axle movement forwards and backwards. I don't know if that's bad suspension geometry, or if that's just what all live axles do. Maybe it's not as dramatic on a full-size car, but yes, it's almost like it's got 4-wheel steering, so when it banks over, you've got the rear wheels actually steer. So I have to keep an eye. I have got plans to put in a really, because it actually weighs 3 kilos. I'll put in a little video at the bottom showing me weighing it. It weighs just over 3 kilos, which is 6.5 pounds ish. So yeah, 3 kilos. It's gonna have a heavy duty rear anti-roll bar. I'm doing some research into different diameter spring steel. So 3, 4, 5 mil spring steel bar going across, and then my linkages going to my axle. Yeah. Well, I'm running out of words now for you, so that's the thing. I'll just do some slow motion shots around it. These are not quite as good as I'd hoped, because the spring, the shocker location is above the centre line. It actually falls over like that there. It falls over. So that's a design flaw. So what I should have done is the shock mount should be right at the bottom, because it's not straight. It's got this curve to it. So that is a definite design flaw. So when I make these again, they will not be like that. As a quick fix for this, I'm actually going to put in. I'm going to grind it back a little bit. Grind the ball back. Put in some washers, and then the washers will add a bit of strength and they'll stop that sideways movement. That's a sort of a temporary fix for this prototype. So I'm going to do that. So that one's the same, just even more. So you see that there. So that needs fixing. But yeah, I think we'll next video we'll get it wired up. We'll do a test run in the garage, and then we'll get it out on some terrain. Just do some little tweaks here and there off camera. But I think that's it for now. Just spin it round. I don't think there's what else to show you really. See, so it's so annoying that it does that. But otherwise, the suspension does work. If I pick up that wheel, it's just, I hope if it's doing 10-15 miles an hour on the loose dirt, I'm really hoping that the the suspension will have that freedom to move, will have that resistance on the ground. But we'll get there. We shall get there. I've got a different motor to put in it as well, bit of a faster motor, so I'll put that in it. But it's got plastic gears in there. Well, it's plastic spur gear, so I'm not going to go brushless. There's no point. It's just going to destroy gears. Yeah, so I'll leave it there, boring you a little bit. We'll put the body shell back on. Okay, thanks for watching.